jamming the switchboard, both here and at the incident room on that case of Welling Garden.
Just to remind you, this was the abduction and radio drop campaign and the handgun debate. Hello and welcome to CrimeWatch. 12 people rang in giving the same... Those fantastic results.
Good morning and thank you for joining us, and a very warm welcome to Steph McGovern back again. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Rav. It is lovely to be here. We've got a jam-packed show for you today as well, so do stay watching if you have any information about our appeals. Get in touch, as your calls really do make a difference.
Coming up, a smash and grab in a Bristol jewellery shop. Do you know the people taking a 5-finger discount?
We have an appeal from the family of Arman Shakur. The 16-year-old was killed back in 2018, but his family still need to know what happened.
We're still baffled, why did this happen? Who did it? Why would they want to do it? What could a 16-year-old have done which was so bad to be shot in the face?
We will also be hearing how a grisly discovery made by an urban explorer led to a full-scale murder investigation in Scotland.
I've seen many dead bodies in my career, but never one in this condition. We didn't know who the person was, and we didn't know if the person had been murdered.
And we're talking about the creepy rise in covert filming of women on nights out. Now, they have no idea they're being recorded, and yet paid-up subscribers are able to watch them online.
Yeah, some of those clips have been viewed literally millions of times. As ever, the officers and our team are here in our studio in the heart of Cardiff, ready to take your calls, and there are plenty of ways you can get in touch.
Yes, there are. You can scan the QR code below using your phone's camera and then follow the link. Or you can call us on 08000 468 999. You can text us on 63399. Start with the word crime, leave a space and then write your text, or email us cwl@bbc.co.uk. And those details will be on your screen throughout the programme, just down by the clock. Now, let's start with a really positive update on the murder of 35-year-old Jennifer Keeley that we featured several times before on CrimeWatch. Now, we spoke to her mum back in 2021.
I raised a perfect child. She was sweet, loving, giving, ambitious. She was a nice girl, very nice girl, very pretty. She was a very good kid. That's why it's so hard to take this in. That she's no longer with us. That's the hard part.
Gosh, you can see the pain etched on her face there. Well, in January 2005, her body was discovered near the seafront in Holywell in Eastbourne. Jennifer, who lived on the streets at the time, had an injury to the back of her head, had been stabbed, and her body had been set on fire.
It really was a gruesome attack, which police believed had been sexually motivated. At the time, some DNA had been recovered from a cigarette butt that was found at the scene. It contained a full DNA profile of a man, which matched a sample found on Jennifer's body. But unfortunately, it didn't throw up any matches on the national databases at the time.
Then, in 2018, Sussex Police had a major breakthrough using a familial DNA strategy. They identified a list of names, but it was in the thousands. So they then meticulously worked through each name, and in 2024 were able to whittle it down to a suspect called Keith Dowbeckin.
Now, he also used the alias Keith Black, and Keith Broadbent was originally from the northwest of England, but police were able to confirm that he had stayed in Eastbourne several times and that he associated with members of the homeless community.
They also discovered that Dowbeckin had actually been arrested by police in Norfolk in connection to 2 separate rape offences. That was in Great Yarmouth in 2003 and 2004. So this was just a short time before Jennifer's murder.
At the time, his DNA was taken, but because he was eliminated as a suspect, it wasn't stored on the database. But now police are certain that he was responsible for killing Jennifer Keeley. However, he died in 2014 at the age of 60, having never faced justice for this awful crime.
Now, Jennifer's family issued a tribute to her saying, "Our mum was more than her struggles. She was a gentle, funny and creative soul. After 20 years, my family and I are grateful for the resolution of her case and for the hard work of those who never gave up. I hope her story encourages compassion for those experiencing homelessness and the stigma surrounding mental health."
A heartfelt tribute there. And now we have another one for our first appeal. This is from the family of 16-year-old Aman Shakur, who went out one night and simply never came home again. As you can imagine, this film has some strong images.
Your mind is just numb. You can't actually believe something like this could ever happen to your child.
In April 2018, schoolboy Aman Shakur was living at home with his family in Walthamstow.
He was a regular young 16-year-old. He was finding himself, he was finding his personality, what he was all about, what he wanted to do. He used to love going out with his friends, and he just came across as a lovely boy. On the evening of 2nd of April 2018, Aman received a phone call from one of his friends asking to come out. Aman said, "Look, I'm tired now," but his friend insisted.
Aman cycled to Walthamstow Leisure Centre.
We know that he had at least 3 friends present, but there are other people close by that he may know or may not have been aware of, but there was a slightly larger group.
Just before 10 p.m, a white Hyundai pulled up near the group.
2 people have got out of that car. One has a large machete, and one has a shotgun.
Aman was shot, once in the arm and once in the face. Then the attackers turned their attention to the rest of the group.
A friend of his has been attacked very violently with the machete. After this very brutal and very quick attack, they have then fled the scene.
The gunman was captured fleeing on CCTV. The white Hyundai was later found burnt out.
I had a feeling inside me that something wasn't right. Without telling anybody, I picked up my car keys and I just got into the car and just started driving. And when I got to the bottom of our road, the area was cordoned off with blue tape. My nephew happened to be there at the time, and then he told me, said, "Aman's being shot." I just sort of froze in shock because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. One minute he's at home having his meal, and then next minute he gets called out and this happens. Just beyond comprehension.
Overnight, surgeons fought to save Aman's life.
We had a feeling that it wasn't good. However, you know, you live in hope. On the following day, I remember it was 2:30 in the afternoon. The surgeons told us that it was too late, basically, that nothing could be done. That was one of the most hardest things that I've ever lived through. We couldn't believe this was happening to us. You know, I was just hoping it's a bad dream and we're just going to wake up and it will all be over.
At 2:30, Aman's life support was turned off.
Aman was a very strong boy. From 2:30 to 5:45 p.m, that afternoon. He managed to survive on his own. It was at 5:45 that day when he passed away. Your life changes permanently.
With a 16-year-old schoolboy dead, police are bewildered as to what may have been the motive for this apparently senseless crime.
A mum happened to be talking to people or associating with people on that evening who may have been the target. And so the pure motive has never really been established.
We're still baffled, you know, why did this happen? Who did it? Why would they want to do it? What could a 16-year-old have done, which was so bad, to be shot in the face? You've actually taken it upon yourself to take someone's life, given a lifetime of grief and misery to a family who you don't even know.
Almost 8 years on from the murder, Aman's killer remains at large.
I believe that there are people who are present who know who have committed this murder, and we really need them to come forward and tell us what they know so that we're able to progress this for Aman's family.
The one thing which would give us a little bit of peace in our hearts would be some form of justice. One day, I'm confident that justice will prevail.
I'm now with Detective Superintendent Kelly Allen from the Met Police. So you saw from the film there, Kelly, this is such an incredibly sad case, and we can see the pain on the family. How are they doing now? I know you and your team have been dealing with them.
Yeah, they are still devastated. They're as devastated as they were nearly 8 years ago. They are absolutely determined, though, to get justice for Aman, as are we.
Yeah, I hope we can do exactly that today and help towards it. Tell us a little bit about Aman there, that young 16-year-old.
Yeah, so he had his whole life ahead of him, 16-year-old, quite quiet, liked to spend time with his family, his friends, his games console. You know, just a regular kid who had his future ahead of him.
Yeah, just a typical 16-year-old, eh? Tell us the events that we know that happened that night then. Let's recap what occurred.
Yeah, so he was at home with his family in Walthamstow. He was having some food, playing on his games console, and we know that one of his friends has asked him to come out, and he has reluctantly agreed. He didn't really want to go, it was quite late. This was happening between sort of 9 and 9:30, but unfortunately he did agree to go and meet his friend. And he leaves his house on his bike and goes to Walthamstow Leisure Centre, which is in Markhouse Road. He's there with his friends, small group of people, and a car approaches, 3 people in the car, 2 people get out, and there is a violent attack in which he's shot twice, and his friend is violently attacked with a large machete before the suspects make off very quickly.
Absolutely horrific. And what do you know about what happened after the attack?
Yeah, so they very quickly flee the scene in a white Hyundai, and they go down Markhouse Road. That vehicle is, as you can see here, is travelling down. So we managed to find that vehicle in Durban Road where it was burnt out. OK, now the footage, it's not the clearest, which is often the case as you as detectives have to deal with, but you've managed to get enough information to see what type of vehicle that would have been. And here we can see it here. So what's this? Yes, so it's a white Hyundai iX35. This was stolen a couple of days before the murder. So we're really trying to understand where their vehicle was before, and also we know that it was burnt out in Durban Road. So who saw that? If they could come forward. Could be crucial information. Now, there's another piece of CCTV that you provided us here. Just talk us through what we can see here. This is just really shocking footage. It shows the suspect who has shot and killed Aman running down the street with a loaded shotgun. Yeah, we can actually see in his hands clearly a firearm there, and this is literally after the incident. Now, it's not the clearest image. Again, it's often what you have to work with, but is there any description you could give of the person here? So the 3 people really involved, all very dark clothing, one with white trainers. It's more who knows these people that are responsible rather than trying to identify them from the footage. Yeah, such an awful attack there, and just seeing the fact he's got that shotgun or some sort of firearm certainly in his hands as well. Now,
there is a reward that has been put up, a substantial one at that, for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the killer or killers. Tell us about that.
So Aman's family have come together and managed to obtain £50,000 for the successful arrest and prosecution of those responsible for his murder. And they are absolutely determined to get justice for Aman, and as are the Met Police. If we just need new information, we need people to come forward and give us new lines of inquiry so that we can progress it and get them that justice.
You say there it's a massive amount of money that the family themselves have put up, but you as the police, you want answers for this. I mean, Kelly, on a personal level, you've moved jobs and you still wanted to come here and do this appeal because you're passionate about getting answers for them. Yeah,
I think we want to solve every murder, and this family have been waiting for 8 years too long for the answers, and we really need this appeal with the reward to get us those new lines of inquiries so that the team can progress this murder investigation.
And if anyone is really scared about giving you the information, there's even things that the Met could do to help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I fully understand why people might be scared. This is a shooting, but there are absolutely special measures that we can give people to protect them if they come forward, but also they can give that information anonymously. We just need those leads to progress it for his family.
Kelly, thank you. And if you know anything that could help solve this murder, the number to call is 08000 468 999. Other ways to get in touch are on your screen below.
Well, now we've got an urgent appeal from Avon and Somerset Police about a smash and grab theft. Now, this happened on the 19th of December at 12:55 in the afternoon. So 3 men made their way into a jewellery studio on East Street in the Bedminster area of Bristol. We've got some footage to show you, the CCTV, of what happened. So you can see here the lads going in there. One man stayed on the door acting as a lookout, whilst 2 other men entered a shop and used a hammer to break open one of the display cabinets, where they went on to steal multiple items of jewellery. Now, a staff member, as you can see, does attempt to challenge them, then backs off when he sees one of the suspects holding a hammer. The person on the lookout actually pushes one of the thieves back into the shop to steal even more jewellery. And police are particularly keen to identify this man who was part of the group. So you can see there he's described as a white male, estimated to be around 5'6". He's wearing this distinctive hooded jacket. And just to point out, we haven't blurred his face. That's actually a face covering that he's wearing there. Now, police are also looking for the items that were stolen. You can see some of them here. There's various bespoke pieces, including some very distinctive necklaces, pendants and bracelets. Now, you can see the full array of jewellery on our website, so have a good look at them. Now, this happened in the run-up to Christmas, and so it wiped out a lot of this small business's stock, which they estimate had a value of just over £4.5 grand. I mean, that is a big hit for a small business to take. So do you recognise this man, or have you seen any of those items of jewellery for sale? Get in touch if you know anything that could help. Our contact details are on your screen now.
Now, our next film takes us to Scotland, where the sad discovery of some unidentified remains send detectives on the hunt for a killer.
I've seen many dead bodies in my career, but never one in this condition.
The person who'd driven that vehicle had been the person that had taken the body to the unit.
Having to release him, knowing that this was our man, it was a very frustrating day.
September 2020. An enthusiast was exploring a derelict industrial unit near Edinburgh Airport when he made a gruesome discovery.
The initial 999 call, which kicked off this case, came from an urban explorer who was exploring the abandoned units. They'd found what they were describing as a human skeleton. I obviously had to go into the scene itself and see what we were dealing with. And I have to say, I was quite shocked. I've seen many dead bodies in my career, but never one in this condition. It appeared to me to be a deceased human who was skeletonized with evidence of what appeared to be sort of mummified skin on certain parts of the body. Couldn't tell whether it was a man or a woman, and I couldn't tell what age the person was. And to my untrained eye, it looked like it'd been in that position and in that place for many years. We didn't know who the person was, and we didn't know if the person had been murdered or if this was a natural death.
Every square inch around the site of the body had to be photographed and recorded before it was moved.
The examination of this scene was really pretty complex, and it took pretty much a full month. There was no need to get the body out quickly to risk destroying evidence. We didn't know if it was a homicide, but we treated it as if it was a homicide from the outset to make sure that we gave it a gold standard forensic approach.
Before the body was removed on the 1st of October, detectives called on the help of forensic soil scientist Lorna Dawson.
There was an area of dark mulch staining, which she was quite interested in, and when she analysed them, told us that the body had most probably been moved into the cupboard sometime after death.
This threw up more questions. Why had the body been moved there? And how long had it been there?
The police were considering that the body had likely been there about 10 years. All the chemistry that we were analysing was really pointing to a much shorter time period than that, certainly less than a year. We were able to look at the samples that were found under the body. I could see these little mites crawling about in the sample. So a colleague of mine could then take those samples and from the biology of that mite, work out even closer how long that body had been there. And they could identify that that body had been there a period of 9 months maximum. So what that information did was allow Police Scotland to then look at people that had perhaps gone missing very recently.
Their evidence was really, really crucial in allowing us to kind of focus the timeline, roughly autumn-winter of 2019, in an effort to identify who the person was.
The post-mortem examination couldn't confirm a cause of death due to the decomposition, but it established the body recovered was male. Investigators then sent scans and images of the man to an expert who created a likeness.
Police have released a facial reconstruction of a man whose remains were found in Fife 2 months ago.
Today, the detective leading the inquiry unveiled this image. It's been created by specialists at Liverpool John Moores University.
I'm confident that it's close enough to the likeness of this man that if somebody knew him and they saw this image, then they would be able to recognise him.
Within hours of that going live in the news, we had a phone call into the instant room who suggested that the male resembled Ian Coots.
And when familial DNA tests were conducted, detectives were able to confirm he was the victim.
Ian Coots lived in a flat in Kinglassie, just a short distance from where his body was found. That was a huge moment in the inquiry. We now knew who the victim was, and we could start to really look into his life. The victimology, as we call it, it's an old saying in the police that if you can find out how somebody lived, you'll find out how they died. Ian Coots was 61 years old. He was an army veteran. He was quite vulnerable. He was liked in the village, liked to drink, and he liked to socialise with his friends, but he didn't cause anybody any harm. And he was really a man of routine. And, you know, that routine had come to an abrupt end. And it was actually quite sad that nobody really flagged it up that Ian had disappeared.
Detectives discovered Ian Coote's council flat had been treated as abandoned. New tenants had moved in and decorated, so there was little hope of any forensic evidence. But his neighbours provided valuable insight into Ian's life.
And they were able to give us an account of his movements right up until September of 2019. And there was an individual who was at Ian's house on a regular basis. A much younger male who was carrying out some sort of DIY and decorating work. And once Ian went missing, this individual appeared to be still attending at the house on a regular basis. This individual definitely had a story to tell in relation to Ian's disappearance.
You can find out exactly who that decorator was and what part he played in Ian Coote's disappearance later on in the programme.
Now, you might have seen in the news about the two journalists who uncovered a group of men covertly filming women on nights out and then posting that footage for profit. Now, it's not a crime, but I mean, it's really creepy and very questionable, isn't it, Rev?
To say the least. Well, we're now with Shona Elliott, who was part of that undercover investigation, and Anna Rose, who was actually filmed without her knowledge. Good morning to you both. Shona, if I just start with you, what spurred you on to be part of this investigation in the first place?
So I started seeing nightlife walking tours posted online, and these videos, they claim to be documenting the nightlife in big party areas, but what they're actually doing is filming women, often in very vulnerable circumstances. And what I noticed about this footage is that none of the women looked like they knew they were being filmed, so it looked like it was being gathered covertly. So I started gathering every account I came across, and quite quickly had 65 accounts that were posting this footage, and between them they had a viewership of more than 3 billion.
Wow.
Gosh, that's loads, isn't it? And it's such a violation. And we've got some of the footage, haven't we, to show that you collected, because there's, as you say, loads of these videos. And can you just tell us a bit about that? Why are there so many of these?
So what our investigation found is it seems that it all comes back to money. So most of the accounts that I identified monetise their content in some way, either through ad revenue or different subscription models. So one account we identified, it offers the chance to pay £3 a month, and then you get access to different and new content. Or you can do a one-off payment of £400 and actually choose the location that they film in. Now, I've taken all of this information to the University of Surrey, and experts there told me that people could be making hundreds and thousands of pounds by posting this footage.
Behind it, isn't there?
Actual business doing this. This is staggering, hearing that people can make money from this sort of thing. And Anna Rose, you seem very uncomfortable when you were just hearing hearing what Shona was saying there, and there's very good reason, because you were actually filmed without you knowing, that was posted online. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so my friend's partner actually spotted the first video and sent it to her. And at first we were like, okay, what's going on here? Is it like a fashion page or something? And then we looked into it and we just see girls upon girls upon girls. And then the next thought that came was like, is it some sort of trafficking? Like, what is going on? Like, what is this?
And it was you and your friends, wasn't it, that were all filmed here? I mean, how did you all feel about it?
It was weird because you can't see anyone filming you, because we weren't drunk, we were very sober. So you're walking normally as you would, and then next thing you know, you see yourself online and you don't see anybody filming. It's so creepy. Yeah. It's so disturbing.
And all the comments as well, that's the other thing, because people watching this are then giving their opinions.
And making the rudest, most nastiest comments. And a lot of these, it's majority men as well, are fathers and husbands. So it's like, how would you feel if this was your daughter or your wife or your sister? It's just so, there's no words to put into how it makes you feel, but it's...
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And Shona, this isn't isolated, just hearing Anna Rose's story. You tracked down a number of women that this had happened to, didn't you?
Yes, so I've identified more than 50 women who have been filmed, and most of these women were filmed in Manchester, which seems to be a really popular place for people to come and film this type of content. Now, one woman I spoke to, she was just 18 when she was filmed, and the video of her has more than 3 million views. She described the experience to me, and she said that she doesn't like going out in the city anymore because she just doesn't feel safe, and she's worried that she's going to be filmed again.
If there isn't enough going on to knock women's confidence, that doesn't help, does it?
Yeah, that's actually exactly what she said to me, that it had really knocked her confidence. Now, another woman that I spoke to only found out that she had been filmed and posted online when her younger brother sent her the footage. Now, the footage of her was quite explicit, and she said it was humiliating to receive this from her brother.
Yeah. Can we talk about the men doing this? Like, how are they doing it? Because you managed to track some of them down, didn't you? And as you were saying, Anna, was it that you don't see the cameras and things, do you?
So the men that are filming this content were really difficult to trace, and this is because they post from anonymous accounts. But we knew that a really popular filming date for them was Halloween weekend in Manchester. So myself and my colleague Abby Smitten actually went undercover, and that was just some of our footage there. And you can see these two men that were filming, 2 of the 5 men that we saw filming that night, are pretending to text on their phones, we think, and then the small handheld cameras are held just below. And
so you can sort of see the phone, yeah, but that's not what's doing all the recording here then. So
no,
it's what's in the other hand, the small, really small device.
Yes.
So and that's the camera.
And it is the camera, it's always held down quite low. And when you walk past it, it really looks quite similar to a vape, something that you see on a night out all the time. And I was out there looking for these cameras, and even I was walking past and missing them, so they're really difficult to spot.
Yeah, and I mean, you went on to confront some of these men as well, didn't you?
Yes, so we did. We contacted all the men that we saw filming and asked them questions about why they were doing this. Now, only 2 of them got back to us, and both have denied any wrongdoing.
Yeah, because it's important to point out again, it's not illegal, isn't it?
It's
That's
not.
what's interesting about this.
It sort of falls between the cracks in the law. I mean, there are talks about making it a specific offence, but at the time, it's not. But Anna Rose, if you were to have an opportunity to speak to one of the people that was filming yourself or one of your friends, secretly or covertly in this way, what would you say to them?
I would say to them that there's so many ways this could have gone. They could have used their camera skills to film something so beautiful and make it so creative, whether film fashion or just the different kind of communities, but instead they chose to use it to knock confidence, to incite just hatred towards innocent women who wanted to just go out, have fun, and just stop.
Yeah, I can see it's really wearing on you as well, isn't it? Like, you're so frustrated by this.
Because I'm sure they have wives, they have daughters, they have sisters, and if one of them were to be on one of these pages, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't like it. So why would you do it to other people's daughters?
Yeah, really
well
important
said. Thank you both so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming in and sharing your experiences for us as well. And let's hope this stops others from doing it.
Let's hope so. Now, back to our film with Police Scotland. After identifying the remains of veteran Ian Cootes, detectives are determined to find his killer.
Police had been told about a young man who'd been seen at Ian's house before he'd disappeared, but also after.
The individual that the neighbours had seen was a local man. His name was David Barnes. When we started to build up a picture of David Barnes' life, around about the time that Ian went missing, he'd actually received a significant back payment in relation to benefits. And we could see that David Barnes had set up an online transaction service in Ian Cootes' name, and this was set up after Ian Cootes had last been seen alive. So that was a real pivotal moment in the investigation.
Analysis of Ian Cootes' phone data also revealed further suspicious activity.
There was some activity on his phone after he was last seen alive.
That included a text to Ian's sister, Audrey.
And in that text message, he asked her for a lend of some money. And with the telecoms data, we were able to say that both David Barnes and Ian Cootes' handsets were in the same local area at the time.
Investigators also suspected Barnes pretended to be Ian Cootes in a call made to the Department of Work and Pensions,
which stated that Ian was living in a caravan in England and that he'd found work and no longer needed his benefits.
with evidence mounting against David Barnes. On the 12th of January 2021, he was arrested and warrants were issued for a search of his property and car.
And he was brought to the police station and interviewed. Unfortunately, he elected to say no comment to everything, and it was agreed that at this stage he should be released pending further investigations. Having to release him, knowing we were confident that this was our man, it was a very frustrating day.
Investigators had to present a watertight case to ensure a conviction and began a painstaking sift of rubbish that had been bagged up as evidence from the unit where Ian Coote's body was recovered.
And we were looking for anything at all. We didn't know what we might find, but just any evidence that might link somebody to that area.
The meticulous search paid off, finally answering how Ian Coote's body had ended up in the unit.
We found a piece of paper which had partial name, a bank account number on it, and we were able to link that piece of paper to Ian Coote's upstairs neighbour. When we contacted him about that, he told us that he would have put that piece of paper into his black wheelie bin that went missing. The upstairs neighbour saw David Barnes pulling that wheelie bin, which appeared to be really very heavy, pulling it into the back of a silver Volkswagen Golf. Thankfully, the witnesses had taken a photograph of this Golf, and you could see David Barnes inside. This witness challenged David, said, "Why have you taken my bin?" And David said to him, "Don't worry, just use Ian's." In all likelihood, Ian probably was in the bin at that time.
Detectives then turned to soil samples recovered from Barnes's car, which was examined by Lorna Dawson and her team.
We identified, by looking under the microscope, these tiny little flakes of red paint. So the chemist analysed it and found that the red paint that was found in the soil was similar to that of the red paint that was on the floor at that unit. The person who'd stood and driven that vehicle had been the person that had taken Mr. Coote's body to the unit.
On the 15th of December 2021, almost a year after he was first arrested, Barnes was arrested again. He was found guilty at trial, and in December 2023, he was sentenced.
A man who murdered an army veteran and dumped his body in a disused building in Fife has been told he will spend at least 23 years in jail. David Barnes killed Ian Coote in 2019 before taking his body to the industrial unit near Glenrothes.
To help the investigators narrow that time window down, I think we can all feel very proud that that has helped bring justice for the family of Ian Coote. And that will remain with me.
It was really a proud moment, certainly for me personally, but for the wider team. Equally, the family of Ian Coote, who were present in court each day, means a lot to them, and that his killer was going to spend a lot of time in prison.
Wow, what a result there. Now, earlier we talked about the men secretly filming women on nights out. And I'm not saying our next item is the answer to that problem, but it is about kickboxing. We've got some brilliant kickboxers here with us because our next guests have started an initiative, well, that, as you can see, packs a punch. James Inge is an instructor who's been working with Sergeant Chloe Spencer from the Leeds South Neighbourhood Police team. Thank you for coming in. I already feel exhausted just stood next to them. But James, this is an initiative you're doing with the police, and it's not just about self-defence, is it? Give us a flavour of what it's about.
No, it's all about about creating a community for all women, you know, to help empower them, give them more confidence, but to create like a safe space as well. And during our classes, we have Chloe Spencer here, who actually comes in and works within the classes with us, and she's there basically if they want to talk at any point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
really good idea. So, Chloe, tell us about your side of this. So you're from the neighbourhood police team. Tell us about that and then how you got involved in it.
Yes, so James contacted myself about another initiative he's working on, and we sat down together and we just came up with this really good idea. You know, it's not about utilising women with the skills to protect themselves, it's about creating that safe space and boost confidence. It also highlights the importance of the police working with community partners such as James, you know, to create those safe spaces for everyone.
Yeah, and it's an important point, because I was chatting to girls earlier about that confidence boost to this, because this is more than just a class you might do in a leisure centre, James.
Yeah, it is, by far. So what we're trying to create is something that's so diverse, it's everywhere. We're trying to create something where it engulfs Leeds and where I'm from, and then people from like Scotland will pick up on it, and people from Wales and like everywhere, and it will become such a big thing eventually. We really want to try and change things for like safety for women and things like that, and just create something that's outstanding.
Can you show us some moves then? I mean, I'm probably not dressed for this, but we'll have a go anyway. What's the kind of key one that I should know?
So the first thing that you should always remember is with any movement that you do, you should do what's called a chamber. So a lot of people, when they kick, they'll bring their legs out like this and they'll kick, but there's no power to that. So when you kick, you want to come up and then you want to chamber, and that gives you the power. Introduce your hips as well, so you can get that full
Do you know
kick.
what?
That's a good kick.
Is it?
It's a very good
very
kick.
Good. It might be me Irish dancing that's done this. But it's hard for me not to pull a gurney face, though, which is not attractive. Chloe, tell me about the impact that this has had as well, because, you know, we mentioned the reaction, but also really good for the community, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, when I go to the classes, we all just have a laugh and have fun, and that's what it's about. It's about people enjoying themselves, and I'm there so people can chat to me about anything, and it just breaks down those barriers.
Do you know, I bet it helps in terms of your relationship for the police, for the community too.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I've already touched on, it's really important for the police to work with those community partners to integrate within the community.
Can you do it then?
I'm practising.
Go on,
He's
give us a
teaching
move.
me.
You're here, go on.
Well, like you said, use your chambers and legs up, and then poo. It's all about the sound effects.
Yeah, I bet it is.
You're very good at it.
And what is it about kickboxing in particular that kind of builds up confidence and things, James?
So it's about turning up. When you actually turn up to these classes, that's your first point of confidence. It's actually coming there and then doing it. Once you're there, you actually realise that the confidence is natural. It's in everybody.
Yeah.
You just don't realise it's there until you get in. And you see that every day, not just in my kids' classes, but also within the ladies. Like, you just see.
So it's really made a difference.
Grows.
So good to have you explaining it. And thank you very much. You can relax now. We better get them a drink. Thank you.
Feel a lot safer over here. That's all we have time for today. Remember, you can watch all the series so far on iPlayer. Tomorrow, more appeals, another exclusive interview, this time with a detective who caught 15-year-old Eliane Andam's killer after she was stabbed at a bus stop over an argument about a teddy bear.
I have never dealt with cases with that level of emotion. Almost Croydon stopped for 24, 48 hours. The community were absolutely devastated by what happened to Eliane.
Wow, such a powerful film. We will see you tomorrow, but for now, goodbye.